Okay. All right. I think it's back. Sorry, guys. I have like stupid internet. Hopefully a bunch of people didn't leave, but um, basically my internet randomly shuts off sometimes. uh, so yeah, and that's what happened. Anyway, I just finished what I was saying about full screen or networks. Google takes like 45% of your ad revenue, and then when you join a network, they take an additional cut of it, and they claim that they offset this by they say that they can negotiate better ads for you, so higher paying ads. So even though they're taking more money from you, the total amount of money is higher, so you still end up with the same or more amount of money. I think that's bullshit. I don't think that's a real thing, but that's what they claim. Also, networks supposedly give you access to a lot of things that you can't get on your own. That's supposed to sort of add value. That's supposed to make up for the fact that they're taking money from you. So this is things like access to like sponsorships, um, technical support, because YouTube technical support is terrible. Um, Things like access to royalty free music, things like that. But anyway, none of that stuff I think is worth how much money they take from you, and most of that stuff you can get on your own anyway. There's artwork on my wall from friends or fans or both. Mostly it's from friends. I'm working on opening up a PO box so I can receive stuff from fans. I've been working on that for like a year, but I'm poor, so it's hard for me uh, to make strong financial commitments. But I'm gonna get a PO box, and then I'm gonna let people send me stuff. So that'll be cool. Do my family members watch my videos? What do they think of my career on YouTube? I don't think they watch them regularly, but they know that I make videos, and they know that that's what I do for money at this point in my life. And I think they think it's cool. I mean, they don't always agree with everything, but they think it's cool. Can you and will I play GTA 5 online, or when it comes out GTA 6 story online? Yeah, if I get my hands on the game, I'm down to play. I may play some GTA 5 online because my roommate has GTA 5. So we can probably make that happen. Or if I get enough money, I might buy the game myself. I'd have to buy it on PS4 so I can play with my friends because they all have it on PS4. Cockatrice. It lets you build virtual deck so you can test things out before you commit your money. Uh, that's cool. Yeah, we'll check that out. The AdSense clean sweep. What exactly is that? I may have heard of that, but I'm not sure if it's the same thing you're talking about. Underage drinking. I mean, I think I don't know. I'm ambivalent about underage drinking. I don't think like going outside and doing shit, which they probably are, because underage people usually are usually like afraid of getting caught, so they're usually like in a house or in a dorm room, or they're not out in the streets, and they're not out at restaurants or bars or anything like that because they can't get in usually. What am I reading these days? I'm reading through the Harry Potter books currently, and I'm making a video series about that, so you can check that out on my channel. I have checked out Thug Notes. I think it's amazing. It's one of the best channels on YouTube. Google falsely accusing channels of invalid click activity. Actually, okay, I didn't know about that. Is it false? Well, I mean, I don't know. I know that Google is really serious about its about being defrauded by people, and I know that you can get someone in trouble by invalidly clicking on stuff. But half the ads on YouTube these days aren't even clickable. They're just there for you to look at. So I don't know. But if you do get flagged for invalid click activity, if you're fast about it, you can what's the word? You can appeal it, I guess. You can at least get into some sort of dialogue where it's like you can tell Google it's like, okay, this isn't me. But if you wait too long and then they ban your account, it's like pretty much impossible to get it back. Like you're just screwed basically. Do I have a Steam? Yes, my Steam is the one janitor, same as my YouTube. We were talking about the Pope earlier. I mean, I think the Pope seems like a nice guy, but he's still the Pope. That was sort of the gist of what I'm saying. Like, he's still the leader of the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church is still like a really bizarre religious organization that has some really bizarre rules and viewpoints. And he's still the leader of that organization. But he seems like a nice guy, and he seems like a nicer guy than previous popes. So. What's up, Daniel? What do you think of May-December relationships, especially like with age gaps of 10 plus years? Are they inherently exploitative, or is it just as complicated as any other ships? It sort of depends. There's a huge difference between a 30-year-old dating a 40-year-old than there is between a 15-year-old dating a 35-year-old, you know what I'm saying? Or a 15-year-old dating a 25-year-old. Like that, those are two completely different things. But it's all about the mental compatibility of the people. It's about the levels of maturity. Like a 30-year-old probably knows a little bit more about life than an 18-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And I've met a lot of 18-year-olds that are like wise beyond their years for sure, but most of them aren't. Most of them have no idea what the fuck they're doing, and the maturity level is just going to be completely out of control. Like it's not going to be anywhere near the same. So in that sense, I think it's a little bit exploitative because the 30-year-old knows that 18-year-old doesn't know anything yet. Like he knows that person is not on the same level, you know. And I mean, I don't mean to use gender. I don't mean to say he or she, but you know, usually at that point, the levels of maturity, that's when they start to flatten out after that age, you know. It doesn't completely flatten out, but it just the steep, it gets much less steep at that point, you know what I'm saying? And this is from both sides of the coin. Like, I'm 30, and I've met a lot of really cool 18-year-olds, but it will probably be a bad idea for me to date one. Like, I don't think it's immoral. I don't think it's, like, inherently wrong, but it's probably a bad idea for me, and it's probably a bad idea for them. Roll Tide, indeed. I think it's kind of dumb how if you dislike a channel, you can shut down a channel forever. Well, that's just why, that's why people just have to be diligent. You have to you have to pay attention to what's going on with your channel, and you have to make sure you stay you know your options and you know what you need to do if there's a problem. Because if you haven't done anything wrong and you quickly respond to these things, you usually can get them taken care of. You should make vlogs. Are you talking to me? That's what I do. Comparison to the gladiators in Rome to the soft, fluffy current NFL. Did someone make that comparison? I mean, the NFL is definitely not soft and fluffy. It's softer and fluffier than it used to be, but it's still a very violent sport, and it's still a sport that destroys people's bodies and potentially ruins people's lives. What do you think of open relationships? I mean, it's all about you have to make sure people are on the same page. I know people that are in open relationships and it works fine, but for other people it probably won't work, but it can work because I've seen it work. But you just have to make sure that people are very open and communicate, and you have to make sure that it's because I mean, you just have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest and you have to communicate. What ideas do I have for my next video? I'm not really sure. I have a lot of ideas and I usually just sort of pick one. I'm going to start doing videos where I respond to comments. That may be the next video. I'm not sure. But you know how most YouTubers, most vloggers and most other YouTubers have a segment where they just read comments and respond to them. I used to do that, but I wasn't sure if people liked it. But I've done a little bit of, I've asked viewers to see if they would be into that, and most people had a positive response to it, so I'm gonna bring it back. I'm probably gonna do a video about censorship. I was thinking about doing a video about Planned Parenthood, but I don't know. We'll just see what happens. I've always thought you would do well in poetry slams. I ever thought about doing it? Not really. I don't. Poetry slams are like. I think like. No offense to people who like poetry slams, but they seem very corny to me. Like corny. Like they make me cringe. Like I'm like embarrassed for the people that are doing them. But yeah, it's just not my thing. I would rather just make music. Like if I were to do something like that, I would rather just do poetry, like regular poetry, or music, like hip hop. Like poetry slams, I think are very, very close to hip hop. And I would just rather do that personally. If I gift you a game on Steam, would you play it on camera? I mean, I'd probably play it a little bit. I don't know when, though. Not now, though. Not today. I think they take advantage of players, ask too much of them. Alright, Nick Knack, thanks for coming to the stream. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I think they take advantage of players as well. But they also pay them a shit ton of money, so it's hard to... you gotta find the balance. I mean, I don't think... In terms of the damage done to players, I don't know if that's worth being paid millions of dollars, but yeah, I mean, I think I would rather read the poetry of of those people. I don't know. It just I don't know. I don't like it really. I feel the messages a lot. I like I like spoken word, which I like spoken word set to music. I put it like that. I like that. But just like regular, slam poetry where you're just sort of like, I don't know. It's like it's hard to describe what I'm trying to say. It sounds like it just sounds like it sounds like you're taking yourself too seriously. I think that's what I don't like about it. Like it sounds like I like slam poetry when it's funny. I can do that. But when it's super serious, I just get really uncomfortable because it's like you're taking yourself way too seriously, dude. Like relax. And even some music is like that. Like I feel like some music just takes itself too seriously, and art does that in general sometimes. And that to me, that's always embarrassing. Like it's like don't take yourself too seriously. Just say what you need to say. Don't like I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But no offense if you like that. I don't mean it like that, but some damages to players can be fixed by money. Yeah, yeah, and that's why I say it's hard to balance it out. But they do get paid a shit ton of money, so it's hard to like feel sorry for them because they're like all millionaires. Um, but there is some things that money can't fix. I agree. But I really like football, so it's hard. It's a very conflicting situation for me. Advice on SAT applying to colleges. Um, well, assuming you're in high school, make sure if you are interested in going to college, you should try your best to finish school with really good grades. If you're a senior, you may be a junior or senior, but try to finish school with good grades because colleges like students with good grades. Um, and in terms of like the SAT or the ACT, I can't really give you that much advice on that. It's just make sure you just study your ass off. I never studied for the SAT or the ACT. I did pretty decently on the ACT. I didn't do that well on the SAT. Um, but just study, and if you can afford to apply to as many colleges as you can afford to apply to. Um, but sometimes colleges will just offer you admission, especially if they want to offer you a scholarship. Sometimes they'll hit you up and be like, "Hey, come to my school," and then you just apply to them as a formality. But you want to do good on the SAT. Just do good on it, and then because if you do bad on it, that's gonna really hurt your chances of getting into any school, any decent school. If you care about that, because I mean, you can get a degree at a school that's not decent. Because really, I mean, you may have a better shot of getting a job with a degree at an accredited school, but if you get a degree, just having a degree from anywhere will help you. So it's not the competitive aspect. I just think it takes itself too seriously. I think that's the main thing. But when I think of like spoken word set to music, like when I think of some tracks that I've heard that I like, I don't know. I think it just depends on the performer. I think the problem is there's probably not that many really great performers. And so I judge it based on the bad ones, but there's probably some really good ones that I would like. Cuz I just randomly happen upon some random YouTube video or something, or someone will share something just because it has a good message, but the performance is like really lame, but the message is good, so people share it, and I'm like, I didn't really like that. But there's probably some people that are really good performers and are unique and stuff, so I don't know. Like it is a slight on society to promote hardcore violence. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I think it's a combination of the NFL and the players though. Cuz I think the NFL reacts to the players a lot of the time. Like if the players weren't so like there's sort of a culture of like being a tough guy in especially in football, but in sports in general, but particularly in football. And I don't think that's the NFL's fault. That's like the players. So there's this culture of like I'm real tough, and whenever I hit you, I'm gonna hit you as hard as I possibly can. I want to remove the top half of your body whenever I tackle you. When all you have to do is bring the guy to the ground. That's all you have to do. You don't have to fucking pop him and make him do a flip. But that's what they do. And the fact that they wear so much padding, like that's an interesting thing about football is they wear so much padding, like compared to any other sport, which you would think is useful because it's sort of a violent sport. But it has a downside because when you're like basically wearing a suit of armor, you feel invincible. So that makes you more likely to go for risky plays, And if you watch like rugby's not quite as violent as football, but they don't wear basically any padding in rugby because they're not trying to fucking pop people off their feet. They just all they want they play the game. There's no cultural. I mean, there's sort of a culture of being a tough guy in rugby, but there's no culture of like I have to murder the other players. They don't fucking when they get a tackle, they don't like get up and like roar like a monster, like they do in football. They just take the guy to the ground and try to get the ball, So it's complicated, just like everything else. Subject change. What about ridicule between political parties? Is it healthy? 50% of the country thinks the other 50% is stupid. Is there a middle ground? There's a middle ground. The problem is the parties what we think of as a conservative or liberal, we always think of the extremist version of that on both sides. But really what we need to focus on is the middle. I truly believe that there's still a left and a right. Like there are conservatives and there are liberals. There are people that disagree on stuff. But there are smart conservatives and there are smart liberals. But there are certain things that I think should be ridiculed. Like, for example, it's common among conservatives to be anti-abortion, for example. I think that's a position that should be ridiculed. I think that's a ridiculous position to hold. Um, it's common among conservatives to be like to think that, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example. Uh, I don't know. I don't want to just pick the like. It's more common among conservatives and liberals to think that, and we're talking about America here. It's probably different in other countries, but it's more common among conservatives and liberals to think that religion should be involved in, government matters. Like, and to me, that's a ridiculous position to hold. On the same side, it's common among liberals to think that censorship is okay. And to me, that's also a ridiculous position to hold. So, there are certain positions that I think are associated with either side that I think are ridiculous and should be ridiculed. But most issues warrant discussion, and you can't just call someone stupid just because they disagree with you. Like, for example, I'm an anti-gun person. I don't like guns, and I have friends that like guns, and it's common for conservatives to be pro-gun. That's the thing that we can talk about. You can't just be like, oh, you like guns, you're an idiot, or oh, you don't like guns, you're an idiot. That's stupid. That's a ridiculous way to talk about things. I don't think that's an issue that's like clear cut in my view. So, I mean, mostly I agree with you. Like, or I don't know if you actually made a point, but I think that this whole and this is a thing that it's becoming one of the main things that I want people to understand is you need to understand, you need to learn how to disagree with people. Like, we are really bad at this. Like, your opinions, like, no one cares that you have an opinion. Like, just because you feel a certain way, that doesn't mean anything, it's okay to have opinions, and I think it's important to have back and forth discussions. But like, when you get into this point where you're so like involved in your own opinion that you just think anyone who disagrees with you is just an idiot. Like, who the fuck made you like the king? Like, how could you possibly have such a high opinion of yourself that you believe that your opinions are always right and everyone else is just an idiot? Like, that's so ridiculous. And this is something that we need to work on as a society. Like, we need to realize that people are going to disagree with us. Even on stuff that we hold very dear, people are going to disagree with us, and we need to figure out how to deal with that. Now, if you have an opinion, or if you have an opinion and it's based on a fact, and someone counters your opinion and based on something that's not a fact, then you can point that out. You can be like, no, that's actually like literally wrong. And that's good. That's why we have discussions. But if your opinion is just based on your opinion and based on your feelings, that doesn't mean anything. People will disagree. And we need to get better at that as a culture. So yeah, I didn't mean to talk that much about that, but I appreciate the comment, Lindsay. I mean, I'm trying to, I feel like I feel like I shouldn't be pat on the back for doing that. I mean, everyone should do that. Everyone should be inclusive to people and not rude to groups. But, that's a thing you'll probably hear me talk about a lot more on my channel. Is opinions. People care so much about their opinions. I did. If you follow me on Facebook or if you follow me on Twitter, I made a post about this recently. But people care so much about their own opinions. Like, and we're like, we don't like that having opinions doesn't cause anything to happen. Like, we feel like we need our opinions to be validated. So like, if someone on TV says something that we disagree with, we're like, oh God, that guy, I don't agree with that guy. He needs to be punished somehow. So we like call a radio station or call a TV station and be like, okay, yeah, can you punish that guy because he said something I disagree with? Or we get on Twitter and we make a hashtag that says fucking cancel Colbert because he said something that was offensive to me. It's like, that's not how it works. Someone says something, you didn't like it or you disagree with it, and that's it. That's all. That's literally the only thing that happens after that. You can talk about it, you can have a conversation, but your opinions don't have to be validated. Like, that's not how this works. and then take it a step further. People are like, no, it's not just my opinion. Like, or people will say something that's an opinion, but they'll phrase it as if it's a fact. So they'll be like, yeah, Justin Bieber is bad. Justin Bieber makes bad music. See, that statement is asserted as if it is a fact, but it's clearly an opinion. Instead of saying, I don't like Justin Bieber, you say, Justin Bieber makes bad music. Okay, you can't say that because that's not a provable fact. That's definitely a matter of opinion. And then people take a step further where they say, no, it's not my opinion. Instead of saying Justin Bieber makes bad music, they say Justin Bieber makes bad music, and that music is ruining society. So it goes from being just my opinion to, no, this thing is actually objectively bad for the world. And people just they take it to the complete random ass level based on nothing, just because we care about our opinions so much that we just make up shit to validate them. And I think this is a really huge problem at this point. What's up, Pilar? I am from Alabama, yes. But that sort of thing has become a big issue of mine, and particularly when it comes to things like political correctness and censorship. And people have different views on this, like anything else. But I've become relatively concerned about the state, like like the whole PC thing. I don't like using the word political correctness. I may make a video about this. But like, for example, I've had a lot of conversations recently where people basically suggest censorship, or you'll see people try to censor or silence people when they do something they disagree with. And to me, that's a really big problem. And that's something that I've become more concerned with, and that's something you might hear me talk about more, and you may disagree, and like I was saying earlier, that's something that's mostly associated with liberals, progressive people, or left-leaning people. So it's not like I generally consider myself a progressive, but when the people that are supposedly on my side are doing things that I think might be dangerous, and then I get a little bit concerned. So yeah, the black community is a little bit behind, I believe, on trans issues, but I don't know that much about trans issues, and I try to stay educated when I can. Yeah, there is a dog. It's definitely not a puppy, but it is a dog. Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump is a maniac. He's either an actor or he's like a crazy person. Yeah, I don't think, I don't think, I haven't heard anyone directly compare me to Dion. I don't think I've ever had to defend my opinions besides his, but we definitely don't agree on everything. Uh, but I follow him on Tumblr, and I think he's mostly a smart guy, and he's kind of funny. I like the way he interacts with his followers. Like he doesn't take any shit from his followers. Like, and this is what I like. I like people like this who don't take shit from people that are trolling them. Like, not even just trolling, but like when a lot of times people will like accuse you of, or like they'll strawman you and accuse you of saying something that you didn't, or they'll use some kind of double speak to try to trick you into saying that you're for something, or just a bunch of dumb shit. And I love the way that he deals with that. Like, he does not take any of that shit. Like, he doesn't take shit from people, and I like that. All right, Green Oak, thanks for coming to stream. Lots of interesting questions. But I don't think anyone has ever like came up to me and be like, "Well, Dion says this." I had a mini debate with Dion recently about censorship, actually, but it didn't really go anywhere because I felt like he wasn't listening to me. So I was like, "I'm done with this." That's the main problem with Dion, is I think that he thinks that his opinions are facts, but he for the most part, I think he's a really smart guy. But obviously we don't agree on everything. For one, he's a socialist apparently, and I'm definitely not a socialist. And he's quite a bit younger than me as well, and I feel like that comes into play, because I think that's why he's like so sure of himself, is because he's like young. Because the more older you get, it depends on who you are, but I feel like the older you get, the less sure of yourself you are. Red versus blue, Microsoft and Apple. I don't know what that is. But I don't know. I was actually gonna get off here earlier, but some people asked some interesting questions. But I'm gonna start thinking about getting off here. I'm getting kind of hungry, and then I wanted to work on this drawing that my mom wanted me to make. But I guess just to get your last few questions in, if you have any. All right, Lindsay, thanks for visiting the stream. I'm gonna try to stream twice a month at least. I may stream again soon. But at least twice a month. They're trying to outdo each other and beat each other, shut each other down. What one would you choose? Well, I'm not really a fan of Apple, because I feel like their products are way too expensive for what they are. That's my main problem with Apple, is I think that as a consumer of products, there's usually no reason to buy the Apple version of anything, because it's just way too expensive for the specs that you get. Like, you can get basically the same specs for much cheaper. But Apple as a company is, they're genius. They have genius marketing. They're really good at that. and they did like set a lot of trends and things like that. But at this point, there's rarely any time that I would want to buy an Apple product. Are you going? Are you leaving Kinetic? So appreciate you coming. I'm about to leave. Oh no, you're saying no at me leaving? Okay, yeah, I'm about to leave. Uh, Thoughts on free the nipple? I mean, I mean, I'm a dude, so I don't really. I feel like my opinion doesn't matter that much. But if women want to be topless, then they should be able to be topless. And I think the only reason that women going topless is considered lewd or obscene is because straight dudes don't know how to act when they see titties, and that's a problem. Like, I like titties just as much as the next guy, but that doesn't mean that you need to lose your goddamn mind when you see them. Like, it's not that big a deal. I mean, you know less stuff, especially once you hit 20s. You start realizing that you don't know that much stuff, but the stuff that you think you know, you're usually pretty sure of when you're younger. But like I said, it doesn't apply to everybody. Thanks for everyone that came to my stream. Thanks for everyone who donated, including What. I'm not sure who that was, but he or she used the name What. Donated $50, which is the biggest donation I've received in a long time. But also thanks to Gasket and Eggy for donating. And thanks for everyone for following. Thanks for everyone for sharing and watching my videos. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I put out more videos last month than usual, and I'm gonna try to keep up that trend. I'm gonna try to do even more. Like, I think I put out like 6 or 7 videos last month, and I usually do like 3 or 4. So I'm gonna try to keep up that trend. Hopefully you guys are enjoying them. If you have any ideas, feel free to let me know. Follow me on social media if you have it. All of it is the One Janitor. Facebook, One Janitor. Twitter, One Janitor. Tumblr, One Janitor. The One Janitor. I have a subreddit, the One Janitor, or reddit.com/r/One Janitor. I'm on Snapchat. Add me on Snapchat, guys. If you have Snapchat, add me on Snapchat. I'm the One Janitor on Snapchat. I have Ask.fm, ask.fm/the One Janitor. So if you want to ask me questions on there, I'm on there as well. I got it all, man. I'm on Twitch, twitch.tv/the One Janitor. If you like video games, follow me on Twitch. I stream on there much more often than I do on YouTube. But that's only if you want to watch me play video games. But even if you don't care about the video games, you can still talk to me. I'll still talk to you. I'll still answer your questions about non-video game related stuff. I'm okay with that as well. Looks like the comments have stopped coming in for the most part, unless it got held up. But either way, I'm gonna go ahead and go, I guess. Thanks again, guys. I may stream. I'm gonna try to stream around the 15th, but I may stream before then. We'll just see. What games? I usually play Smash Brothers. Right now I'm playing this game called Rivals of Aether, which is a game based on Smash Brothers, but it's really cool. It's an indie game. But occasionally I play. I'm going to be playing Metal Gear Solid 5, which I may play that soon. Because I'm going to try to. I've been playing through that on the stream. Sometimes I play League of Legends. Sometimes I play Team Fortress 2. I play a lot of Smash Brothers. So, but I'm down to try new games. I like fighting games a lot, but I'm down if people suggest games for me, I'll probably try them out. So yeah, the one janitor, no space, just like my YouTube screen name. Add me on everything. All right, guys, I'm out. I'm out of here. You can email me if you want to say hi to me. If you want to send me a longer message, otherwise you can tweet at me, AskFM, Tumblr. There's lots of ways to keep in touch with me, even when I'm not streaming. So that's a thing you can do. All right, see y'all. Bye. Otherwise, you can tweet at me, AskFM.